Now, trial attorney Brian Claypool. Brian, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Nice to have you on. So Trump taking the stand, it is a major moment. What are prosecutors going to be pressing him on?
Hey, Marnie, great to be back with you. Yeah, prosecutors are just going to be focusing on, hey, former President Trump, you inflated the values of your properties and you made it look like your properties are worth a lot more than they really were. And that's simply it. And it really does strike a chord with a lot of people across the country, Marnie. Maybe that has something to do with the new polling number as well. But look, at the end of the day, in our justice system, you get a trial based on the facts before a judge rules. And you've already noted, I mean, this is a case where a judge has already ruled fraud before he heard any evidence. I mean, it's simply un-American, in my opinion. And then also, the Attorney General wants to shut down somebody from doing business. I mean, the moral fiber of our country is based on a free market where people can build their businesses and thrive and not have government interference and not have the government try to shut you down. So in many respects, I think this is backfiring for Letitia James.
You know, Brian, the attorneys for Donald Trump did not cross-examine his two sons when they testified. Do you expect that they will take that opportunity today to cross-examine their own client?
I wouldn't. In fact, I would be advising former President Trump not to say too much. And I know a lot of people might giggle when they hear that because, as we know, he does like to talk and likes the camera and likes the attention. But look, at the end of the day, this is like a bad investment, Marnie. I mean, that the judge has already spoken. He's already declared President Trump's companies have committed fraud. If it's a bad investment, it's going down. You don't keep putting money into the investment. What I mean by that is, why have former President Trump say things that might potentially lead to a further investigation? We don't know what's in all those bank records. We don't know whether former President Trump has signed any documents under penalty of perjury regarding the value of these various companies. If he goes into this courtroom today and starts talking about the values of these businesses, real estate, that are at odds, for example, with what he conveyed in bank records, who knows? That might lead to some kind of criminal investigation and potentially another criminal indictment. He's got 4. So I think the less today is better.
And is there also risk, Brian, of antagonizing the judge further? He's already imposed 2 gag orders in this trial.
Yeah, Marnie, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, I've been practicing quite a while, and former President Trump's gotten away with a lot. I mean, in most courtrooms, he would not be able to be giving these press conferences out in the hallway, attacking the judge, attacking Letitia James, but it's happening. And I think you're right. I mean, I think this is going to turn into a courtroom brawl. And who knows, maybe President Trump is sanctioned, maybe the court adjourns, maybe he's threatened with what's called an order to show cause for being in contempt of court, for arguing with the prosecutor and the judge. I mean, it doesn't paint a really good picture, Marnie, of our justice system. And I think that's the sad part of this entire alleged trial. This trial really isn't the way it happens in true courtrooms across the country.
What stood out to you, Brian, about Trump's 2 sons' testimony? Was there anything surprising that they shared or anything that you thought changed the course of this trial in what they testified?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, for years, we've heard about how great the Trump companies are, how great their real estate is, and how great of a empire that they are building and running. And then all of a sudden, you hear the sons in the courtroom saying, I'm not really involved in that aspect of the company. I don't really know the value of these properties. I mean, clearly that was their strategy. Hey, look, it's not us. We're not the ones that are valuing these properties. And Marnie, I think the strategy there is they are going to dump this at the doorstep of the banks. And I think to that end, it's a good strategy. It doesn't make the Trump family look that great, but in terms of legal strategy, look, the banks are the ones that are deciding whether to issue these loans. Banks have due diligence requirements. Banks owe fiduciary duties to their shareholders to take financial statements from businesses and do their own audit of those financials to verify the value of assets before they issue any loans. I don't hear any banks in the courtroom coming in and saying, Mr. Trump frauded us. And by the way, he never paid back the loans. If Trump paid back the loans, why are we in a courtroom? Arguably, there are no damages.
Right. That has been his gripe since the very beginning. Finally, the judge is considering the possible fines, the 5-year ban on doing business in New York. He's already found the evidence, he says, of fraud. So how likely is it that there is no penalty in this case?
Marnie, can you say appeal? We've talked about some other cases over the last year. This case is so ripe for appeal. I mean, how is it that the city of New York can garner $250 million fine when the city was never damaged, Marnie? I mean, this statute that allows this lawsuit should be challenged. And then a judge ruling already fraud without hearing the evidence. So I think clearly the Trump campaign is gearing this case up for an appeal, and I think they should win on appeal. And I think really what President Trump is doing today, Mari, is he's campaigning for the election. You heard it in that comment outside the courtroom. He's telling people across the country this is un-American and this is bullying. And I think that is going to resonate. The poll numbers are already more favorable for President Trump. People are fed up with the government interfering with people trying to run their businesses, with crime, with the border, with interest rates at an all-time high, inflation at an all-time high. So Trump's trying to take advantage of that.
Brian Claypool, thank you.
Thanks, Marnie.